Hello everyone, it's Carrie here from the Female Entrepreneur Association and welcome to another weekly dose of inspiration to build a successful business. So, building a business, let's be honest, is not exactly a walk in the park. I think sometimes it can leave us feeling really frazzled because there's so much to do. I know I have felt frazzled so many times in the past. However, something that I love doing is learning new ways, new strategies, new ideas and things I can try out to help me to get better at it all, get to be more efficient and more effective at building my business. So if you are like me on this, then you're going to love this episode because we are joined by Shelly Waldman, who is the founder of businessjuice.co or .co, and she's going to be sharing 4 things that we can all do to help us feel less frazzled in business, to help us to become more productive and build our businesses more efficiently and effectively. So Shelly, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, Carrie. I'm really excited to be here.
I am excited to hear your tips. Like I said, I love learning new productivity tips. I love learning new tips that are going to help me to feel less overwhelmed and frazzled, because I think if we're all being honest, like business, there's so much going on. There's so much to building a business, and it can be ridiculously overwhelming and tiring and exhausting and tough. And I don't think there's anything wrong with admitting that. I think that's just really the way it can be. But I think what is amazing is that we've now all got the ability to share our knowledge and expertise with each other, to share different tips and stuff that we can apply to help us to get better at running our businesses. So I cannot wait to hear what you have to share. So should we just jump straight in and you can share your wonderful tips with us?
I'd love to. So I think one of the simplest things that we tend to forget to do because we're so stuck on our phones and in our heads is to write things down, like physically write them down somewhere. So whether you do this daily over your cup of coffee, or me with my cup of tea, or weekly, whether you start your week on your Monday or you want to do it at the end of the week on Friday, but to write everything down and to categorize it into similar tasks. So you could use something as simple as a daily planner form, which Carrie, you're going to have a link to that. It's a free download from me.
Okay, definitely.
Or something great like Evernote, or a project management system like Asana. Or if you maybe have a more complex business and you use a CRM program like 17 Hats or Tave that has workflows that you can assign to your different clients or your different product workflows, those will all help you keep your tasks together. So whether those are emails or phone calls, or say you're working on a project and you have 5 different design things that you need to do, keeping those things together so you can chunk out that time through your week. So that way you only have to open that design program once and work on those 5 projects at one time, instead of going, I have to write this email, then I have to make that phone call, now I have to do this design thing, and I email that person back. And so really thinking thoughtfully through your calendar and how you spend your time is kind of, those are 2 tips in one.
Okay, they are amazing things, and I think it's so easy to forget to write things down, but so powerful and effective when you actually do it, and like when you do it consistently, like at the beginning of the week, so you know exactly what you've got to work on. I always find it similar to like setting weekly goals or intentions, or even setting monthly goals. It's something that we should all be doing, but it's so easy to forget to do it. So I love things like this. It's definitely good to have it reinforced that we need to be doing it.
Yeah. And I mean, just like you said, when you do weekly goals or even monthly goals or daily tasks, it's great when you write them down because you can go back and you can say, oh, I didn't do that, or that fell through the crack, or, you could find where you're slipping up and maybe where you eventually need some help. Yeah. And that's tip number 3, is really to outsource the energy suckers. Things that really get you down and really drain you. Those are the things you want to start recognizing. And, as a solo entrepreneur, I run 2 businesses, and I know that I've done everything. I've done the marketing, the logo design, my website design, and I try to do it all from writing contracts and also doing all of my accounting, but there's just not enough time in the day. And the reality is there's people I can hire who are more knowledgeable than me, who can do it faster, and in the end actually save me time. So then I can go and do what I do best, which is service my clients and provide the things that I want to do. And then that actually frees up time for me to go do something that I really want to do, like go on a hike. I love to be outdoors. Yeah. And so really finding, using your daily task sheets and your goals, like you said, to find those things that you can outsource to basically give yourself back time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's so important to do. Something that can be hard though, I think I've definitely struggled with actually taking that step towards getting people to help, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, especially when you've been doing it by yourself for such a long time, it's so hard to like know when that right moment is to give up the control or to find the right person to come and work with you. But thankfully we've got like another an interview coming up all on this topic, so for anyone
awesome.
watching who is thinking, how am I going to do this? And don't worry, we've got something coming up for you.
Yeah, I just did it for the first time myself. I just raised my hand and said, you know what? I need help.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to actually say that. I think as a business owner, we tend to be like, we can do it, let's go do it. And to actually step and go, you know what? I actually need some help doing this can be really humbling.
Yeah, I think it's a mindset shift as well. Like this year for me was all about getting more help, in not just in terms of like bringing people on board to the FEA team, but also in sense of reaching out to other experts and working with other people to help me to get things accomplished much faster. And I think it is a mindset shift, because before I was just I was holding on so tightly to everything, which I think a lot of us do. So I think like having that shift, like you said, like that mindset of being okay and being like, no, I need to go and do this, it does change things. So yeah, so that's a great tip.
And I'm sure you probably feel better now, right? That you have made that mind shift, right?
I don't know. I could never go back to what I was doing before. I just couldn't do it. I don't know how I did it.
It's almost enlightening. It's kind of crazy. And and when you do start working with experts, like I brought on a mentor this year, which is the first time I've ever done that, and I've watched myself go, wow, like I could not have gotten to this place without that help.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing what just that little bit of investment in someone else's expertise can do for you.
I couldn't agree more.
And so my last tip is really about not feeling guilty. It kind of carries over to what we were just talking about. And when you have your day planned or your week planned out, you know what you need to execute. You know what's ahead of you, and therefore that anxiety level can be way reduced. You're not in panic mode, like at the grocery store going, oh my God, I know I have these 50 things I need to be doing, but I don't know what they are. You actually can accomplish stuff and then take a break. And just to share a little story about one of my clients, she was really frazzled, totally overwhelmed. Whole life change just happened to her. Both of her kids are now in college, and she would sit in front of her computer and literally panic and be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know I've got like these 87 clients that have things to do, but I don't even know where to begin. And so we started by doing a productivity counsel, like basically one-on-one consulting with her, helping her get her calendar under control, chunking out her time. And she actually sent me this really great text, like after our first week doing it, saying how amazing she feels because she can sit down, she knows what she has to execute, and then she can actually look out her window, and when the water conditions are right, she now can go kayaking whenever she wants.
Yeah.
Because she knows exactly what she has to be doing.
Yeah, I love hearing stories like that, because it's just so freeing when you actually do that. I think also working with someone else on it is very helpful. I remember taking a day out once to sit down with a friend of mine and to map out how long it took me to do all the activities I was doing, so that then I could then put it into a weekly timetable. And he taught me this concept of mini days, of like basically chunking your time into like having these little mini days where you know what you're going to be working on in that period of time. And it transformed everything. So even I think if you get together with a friend or a coach or just someone else, and even if it's like a virtual session, to do that and to go through your time, it transforms everything. And then like you say, like when you become more efficient with your time and you get more stuff done. So then when you get to the afternoon, you're just like, I don't really have anything. I've done everything I needed to do. I can go and do whatever now. Like, even if it's just going to, like, sometimes I feel, it's really weird, because I think you sometimes still have this battle, or at least I do, where I feel slightly guilty for a few seconds. And I'm like, no, I'm going to just watch a movie and just enjoy myself. Like, if you can, that's the whole point, isn't it? And it's just, I think all the things you've said help people to build businesses that allow them to create something that gives them the lifestyle they want and the freedom they want, rather than living in that perpetual state of panic that you've got so much going on and it's all in your head and it's all a big blur. It confuses you and you just feel that overwhelming sense of panic and not really knowing what you're doing. And it's just, I think everything you've said just helped you to get out of that and into that space where you're so much more in control and so much more clear on everything you've got to do, it's such a better place to be. It feels like a weight's been lifted when you're there. And I always find I go in phases. So sometimes I'm like really on it. I'm using all the tools, like the things you've just shared, and everything's running smooth and I feel amazing. And then like I'll start slowly like slipping off, and one by one the little habits will disappear, and then I'll find myself back in that place where I'm like like pulling my hair out, like what am I doing, what's going on, I feel so confused. And then I'm like, no, get back on control, like go back to basics and like do these things, and then you get back in control. So I feel like for me it's like very cyclical. I'm not sure whether it is for other people, but it definitely is for me. But I think it's always great to then hear these things that like reinforces to you, just get a little bit more disciplined and use these productivity tools, and it just transforms your life.
Well, and the nice thing is once you start building out your calendar, you start seeing like you can plan further ahead.
Yeah.
You could start your marketing I've heard from, I don't know, at least 10, 20, experts about marketing. You need to get your marketing plan done, 6 months in advance. But when you're in a frazzled state, you can't even think like a day ahead.
Yeah.
So once you start getting that clarity, you then can start seeing like, oh, well, 3 months from now, I'd like to be doing this. And 6 months from now, I'd like to launch that product. And and then you start going, oh, okay, well, I could actually start building in systems into my calendar, into my life that allow me to launch these things and be more productive.
Yeah. So true. I love it. Thank you so much for taking the time to share all that stuff with us. I think it's just really, it's essential information, I think, that every single one of us needs to keep hearing over and over and over again, and keep applying over and over and over again. So thank you so much for taking the time to share it with us. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, Carrie. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And I'd also love to hear what you think about this. Do you ever feel frazzled with your business and overwhelmed with everything? And also, have you kind of got on that mission where you're trying to build a more efficient, effective and more productive business? And if so, what things really, really help you? I'd absolutely love to hear. So head over to the blog and leave a comment. And also, if you've enjoyed this video but you aren't subscribed, then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. You can do so on the blog at the bottom of the blog. Just click on the image, or if you're watching this over on YouTube, then you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. But I hope you found this video inspiring and helpful. I hope it helps you to build a more productive and efficient business, and I will see you next week for another dose of inspiration.